welcome to an Everyday Canines video. In this episode I want to talk to you about when you need to send your dog to the back of a jump. So we've talked about this in earlier videos, but we'll look at it again. This counts as the front of the jump. It's the side of the jump that I'm facing, or as Swift is not facing it, it's not her, but imagine she turns around, it's the side of a jump she's facing. It's the front of the jump. This is the back of the jump, because for the dog to get there and take the pole, they need to go around the wing and get to the back of the jump first. So on a course, quite often, we need to send the dog to the back of a jump. So I'll show you that. Ready, ready. Come here, come here. Oh, you knew already. Around, round, round. Okay, so we're sending our dog to the back of a jump. We can do all sorts of things when our dog is going around the back of the jump. First of all, we can have the dog go around and jump in extension, jump full long. So when we want our dog to jump long around the back, it's when we want our dog to come around and we want them to extend, really power over that pole. So a nice long stride over that pole to get them where we want to go next. So that's something when we need to really power to the next obstacle. But sometimes when we turn our dogs around the wing, we want them to go tight because we don't want them to go over a long way, we want them to collect. So this way we would want them to go really tight around the wing, and maybe we'd want them to come straight back on themselves. But we might even want them to do this, where we ask them to do a complete circle and come off the jump. So that's your two types of round the back. Your long one, nice and flowy, and your tight one. When you're teaching your dog these, and we'll look at that in another video, but when we're teaching the dog these, we might choose to have two cues. I have round round, which means go round the wing to the back and jump long. And when I want my dog to turn tightly, so they're having to shorten their stride all the way along and really turn into that tight and dig in, that's my rap, 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 rap cue. So it's just two different words. The dog knows there's two different types of turn coming up. So here's some of the things you might hear these types of turn called. You might hear them called a push round, which means the dog's been pushed round the back. You might hear them call them a backside, because it's the backside of the jump. It might be a send to the back. It might be a push back. So there's just the different ways of saying this. If someone says a round back or a push back, push round tight, then you're talking about doing a tight turn. Otherwise, you would be expected to jump long or work it out for yourself. So there's some of the phrases you would expect to hear meaning send your dog to the back of the jump. And that's another one. You can say send the dog to the back of the jump. But that tends to be the long version when you're talking it. Push rounds, backsides, that tends to be what we normally say. Another thing you can think about when you're doing these types of turn, we've just looked at in another video we looked at our pivots, our blind cross and our front crosses, the fundamental crosses. You can use them in conjunction with pushing the dog around the back. So if I just send my dog like this, it's a pivot. My dog will be on my drive arm, my near arm, as I send them round, and I will collect them on the same arm. So I've not changed sides, the dog remains on the same side throughout the manoeuvre and carried on. Now I could do this on the tight one as well. So I sent them round this wing. Now I would have to really pull in tight to do this, because obviously if I'm stuck here, I'm causing my dog to push out, but I can pull in tight here, pick them up on the same arm. Can be done, that is sometimes something you do. Another thing we might do on a round the back is round the back front cross. So we push them round the wing, and as we do, we want to change sides. We want to switch our drive arms. So as we send them round with that arm, we're going to do the front cross and pick up on the new arm. So we'd be sending round, pick up, and off we go to wherever we need to be next. So that's how you would do a push round with a front cross. Now we've got a push round blind, and I would say this is probably one of the things you see quite often. I would say that you tend to see the push rounds with a blind more often than you see it with a front cross, especially when you're going on a straight, so you want them to really push and extend. The front cross gets in the way. So supposing I want to send my dog round and I need them to come along over the pole, so extending, striding, but whatever's over there, I need to be on the opposite arm. So in this case, I'm starting on my right arm, but I need to finish on my left arm. So this is when we'll do a push round blind, sometimes a push back blind. There's so many ways you can say it. So what we would do, send the dog, pivot, but whereas when the first pivot we made sure there was space here to let the dog come round, so we did this, the dog could come in. With a push back blind, we're going to be coming in, so the dog has to come behind us and switch sides. And if you look, what I would probably be doing is, as my arm is coming round, I'm putting my arm slightly behind me so that the connection is clear, that it's connecting with this other arm, and go. It's the sort of thing you do so automatically you forget about it. But yeah, I go like this. So if I show you with Swift on that one, because that is a slightly more complicated one. Actually, we'll show you both. We'll show you the difference. We'll show you the pivot first. Ready? Round, 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 round. So you see, she stayed on the right arm. And now we'll look at doing it as a blind. Okay. Round, 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 round. And she picked up on the different arm. So I've taught my dogs blinds on the body language alone. You can use them on a word. But in essence, when you're doing something like that, it's where you make the gap for the dog over the jump. If I'm here on this jump, yes, I suppose a dog could cut across in front of me, but most dogs, they go, oh, she wants me to blind, because that's the easiest option for them. Whereas if I'm back a little bit, it's more obvious they want them to do this. But of course, it also is about the arms are telling them to do the blind and all that. Just to finish off, and for the sake of completeness, I'll show you what a pushback with a front cross looks like. Okay, ready? Round, round, round. Good girl. I cheated a bit then because I was a bit lazy then and I didn't really do a full front cross for you. That's the trouble when you get the hang of these. You get a bit lazy. So I'm going to do it as if I'm doing this really new. Okay, so I'm coming up to my jump. Round, round. Yeah, that was better, wasn't it? That wasn't lazy. That wasn't a Sophie lazy. So you can see, now I think you can probably see there that the front cross requires more steps and is a little bit more awkward. If I was trying to do the same thing as I was doing with the blind, okay, round, 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 round. I can do it, but I'm slower, and I don't know about you, but I start to fall over my feet. So that's your basic turns with a round the back and how you go about doing them. So I hope you've enjoyed this Everyday Canines video. If you have, you might subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you can check us out on Facebook and Instagram. And I hope to see you all again very, very soon.